Well, hello and welcome to Adente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the U stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. And tonight we have the penultimate, for now, episode of the Wicker Saga, Sabbath. So yeah, Sabbath, along with all the other Wicker Saga stories by Shadow Swimmer 77, are on creepypasta.wiki, so you can check them out there. And I suppose we should give our initial recommendations. I'm going to conditionally recommend this.
And I'm going to partially recommend this.
No.
I suspected as much.
Not even waiting for my turn.
Yeah, I don't recommend. Well, let's dive in and find out exactly why. Starting with the rundown. So, Frank, father of Jamie and Lester from the Figure in the Fog story, finds himself in a dark space in between life and death and outside of time, where he begins experiencing memories past, present, and future of his experiences, or of his existence. From beating his son near to death in a drunken state, to being a psychopathic, pervy serial killer, to his last moments alive as the Figure in the Fog, and his own taken and corrupted children rip him apart. All the while unable to change his actions in the memories, though he desperately wishes to do so. This is all the machinations of the eldritch priest creature Creed and his mistress, the Allmother, Lilith, as they convince Frank to make a deal with them and become the Allmother's right hand to sow discord and chaos in the world. The price is his soul, as Frank will be stripped of his moral conscience and guilt for his horrendous actions thereafter. Seeing that there's no real way out of this, as he's already seen the future he becomes, he agrees, only to realize too late that in this space beyond time, he did in fact have a choice. Oh well, the Allmother takes him and reveals her true nature and even the future of the Earth as she has planned for it. And then Frank is dragged away by Creed to be tortured into the monster they want him to be. Finn. Yeah, that was Sabbath. So I guess I'll move on to everyone tell our Instagram acquisitions. At this point, italics, like the alien guy. Yeah, there's a lot of italics in the story. Obviously used for like his when he's talking in his thoughts, but I'm dragging this along. I have nothing else really for grammar. So, Mikey, these stands for evil.
All right. Well, you might want to grab some popcorn because I've got a long conjunction junction.
I'm just gonna mute myself.
I gotta go to town real quick and do some shopping.
And next stop, Conjunction Junction. Doot, doot.
It's like she doesn't recognize me. It's my boy, Jamie, my firstborn. It doesn't stop. It's like they're going to split the sides of his skull. They're so wide. But it did. It points at me there in the black. Somehow, even without seeing, I know it points at me. Just as I know its unseen face holds a mouth far too wide, filled with far too many sharp teeth. Just as I know the soft dripping sound I hear is drool, trickling from its mouth, saliva forming disgusting pools on the unseen floor at the thought of a meal soon to come. Its voice echoes throughout the cavernous dark, cascading like deep peals of distant thunder, the sheer immensity of it rolling over and through me, churning guts I'm not sure I still have, raising hairs and goosebumps on arms that might only exist in my mind. And somehow, in spite of the terrifying nature of the call, I find myself rising to my feet and, like a puppet on a string, taking a jerking step toward the creature. It doesn't. But what comes out is an alien voice instead. And for the finishing touch, it sounds like popcorn, cracking and snapping, because of what I'd done. But then he'd gone missing. And Jamie is standing in front of me. But he looks wrong. And there's the Fontaine girl's sister. And then, or at least something that looks like a woman dressed all in white. But a humble servant, Mr. Lawrence. It's one of the things I find most amusing about mankind. And then what do you do? It's the stuff of folly. And what are all these experiences I've been having here? But, I mean, the living room, sure, and the fog. But the factory, that psycho wasn't me. And knowing the role you are bound for, my oh my, I can only imagine how special it must have been. But not really. But what about free will? It still exists, of course, and will continue to be. It is simply thus. But she is limited in what circumstances she can affect your reality. And for what? Because the unfiltered majesty of his being would be too much for mere men to behold. And I'm one of them? It surprises me as well, Mr. Lawrence. So, let me get this straight. And in exchange for that, you give me what exactly? And I think now, as this man, this devil, stands in front of me, telling me my desires, offering me everything. It's shining in his eyes that glow like fire, mirroring those of the women in white, and in his sharp smile, reflecting the soft glow of the symbols on his body. And God knows there are many of those times. And it would only cost me my soul. It looks as though Creed's smile will split his skull. But now the black moves as a living thing, squirming and coalescing, pouring over and around itself in layers, solidifying until, by the light of Creed's glowing symbols, I see the woman in white standing before me. And we moved together, this goddess and I, as one. And I recall. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And as I feel her change me, feel my soul being twisted and forged anew, and home. And the woman turns to dust in my arms, vanishing as though she were never there. And if that is true, then the decisions made here. But we will get you where you need to go. But never fret, Mr. Lawrence. But perhaps while we wait. And my screams last a very long time. Finn.
Okay, I got a couple things. First off, the early on it's like, it's my boy, and it's like, it's my boy Jamie, my firstborn. But as soon as you said it's my boy, no, my boy, father help. That's all I could hear in my head.
I
Like that
do not
meme.
know what you're referencing.
It's a meme.
Cool.
Fair.
I'm sure it's hilarious. I'm sure someone laughed.
I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I love how we are like, because of the story, you had to essentially nitpick a conjunction or do a conjunction junction on a fucking Bible verse. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. That is Genesis 1, 1 and 2.
Which is obviously grammatically incorrect.
Yes, I mean, oh man, can you imagine doing conjunction
Like
junction on the
you should
Bible?
do, yeah, of the entire
We
Bible.
should absolutely.
Also known as a retelling of the Bible.
Oh man, no, like legitimately, like that might be like a really fun like Patreon specialist. Like,
But for you, he has to spend 3 days doing that.
Yes, it's his penance. But now a critically silly dramatic reading of the Bible.
But only the ones that start with words that they probably shouldn't, like get censored butts, because it's always better words to use.
Exactly, much like this story.
Yes. Which, for context, is why Mikey did that like longer rundown than you did to basically highlight the sentences that start with words that they probably shouldn't. Even though like 3/4 of his dialogue and it's all like told as a memory, I guess.
Yeah, like a lot of it is like his thought form, like his thought process and dialogue. So like it really doesn't matter, but like we do it for shits and giggles.
We're here for the bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, yeah, early on when he was saying like it's Jamie, my boy, and then like immediately after it's like it says like it doesn't describe what, but it says that something felt like his eyes were gonna, oh maybe it was eyes. It says something about like something feeling like it's gonna like explode from his head.
Yeah.
And then the next line was, and it does. Even though like it doesn't do that in the story.
Yeah, no, exactly. Also, it's something I will bring up now because it's not really going to be of any relevance to the actual story, but so I might as well do it here. You mentioned in the you quoted what was it? Creed's eyes like flaring up, like or like that flaring up like the woman, like the woman's eyes and such. Mm-hmm. And honestly, like when I was reading this, like whenever it brought up like the woman's like fiery eyes and stuff like that, and like Creed's fiery eyes that were like the same. Detective Tissue's time. I recently just finished watching Welcome to Derry, and I was just like, so wait, is Creed and the woman in white just Pennywise, or like Pennywise adjacent entity? Because Pennywise, like that's how you can kind of sometimes tell that like somebody is in fact not who they are, like who what they're supposed to be, but like just Pennywise in disguise, is like his like devilish, like kind of golden eyes, or like red yellow eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Also, when you brought up the time to get your popcorn for this lengthier episode, it didn't click until you brought up a popcorn the popcorn line in your conjunction junction. I was like, fuck yeah, that's why you did that.
Yeah.
Oh, that has so much more meaning now. Yeah. But Gamer, do you have any grammar in yellow?
Yes, I do. Let's
yes,
see.
I certainly do.
I could have swore I had my notes up, but I guess I didn't. Hang on a minute.
You just cared so much about
You know it.
yeah.
I am totally prepared. Don't
Wow,
you
so
think
like
that I'm
even
not.
without your notes, you're just like, nah.
Well,
Nope.
I know that it was nah.
No, that's true, yeah.
I don't have to read my notes to say nah, bro. Okay. Yeah, my first one here. It's in between a couple of sentences. I'm not going to bother reading the whole sentences, but it says like by the too many brackets, far too many sharp teeth, period. And then there's 5 spaces, and then it says I fight bones and muscles, blah 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 blah. So I don't know why there's 5 spaces in between those sentences
That is weird.
when there
yeah.
really should only be one.
Yeah.
And then my only other one is one where I think there needs to be a comma, where it says the building is familiar, yet not. Older and more run down than I ever remembered it, period. And it says, like my surroundings, my own sense of self seems somehow off. So for some reason, at least for me, I feel like there needs to be a comma between surroundings and my. So it'd be like my surroundings, comma, my own sense of self seems somehow off.
Yeah.
So it's not like my surroundings, my.
Yeah. You know, so you're not like skipping. So you're not like like you're stopping to breathe.
Yeah.
And give them a moment. Yeah.
Also separates the two my's a little bit better.
Yeah.
But that's all I got for grammar.
All right. Well, then let's plunge into actual thoughts.
The only one with actual grammar related issues here.
I'll start with this one here. Their backs, dear Lord, the skin from their backs has been taken and nailed to the wall behind them like canvas. The words painted across them, a crimson matching the spatters marking my face. God, no, please, 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 wake up, wake up. Oh God, oh man, oh God, oh man, oh God, oh man.
A little bit.
Yeah. Well. Work to be done, darling. Maybe after, though. My hands are moving on their own accord, one holding her skin taut, the other taking the knife and ever so slowly making an incision along her shoulders with the careful precision of a surgeon. Wow, this is fucking dark. That's my gut reaction to this whole sequence and memory.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking some solace in this that Frank subconsciously, or like his subconscious mind or his soul or whatever, he's like the one that's trapped inside the body is at least mortified by all this as well. It shows that he is still human, if even if he is helpless to like stop these events. Honestly, I feel like that is exactly the horror that the story is trying to invoke, is just the one of helplessness and in the face of viscerally brutal events. And basically like the just like this tormenting of his soul because of like what he's done or what he will do, and the folly of his character. While I'm on this subject, I do feel like this story could have used a trigger warning at the start. Just between the visceral retelling of the domestic abuse at the start, and this traumatic activity, or these traumatic, like, just brutality against women and children.
Well, that's not what get trigger. What gets trigger warnings in these? What gets trigger warnings is basically describing sex. Anything else
Yeah.
than that, it's free game apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like I do feel like this story specifically, and like some like this one, and like like I feel like this one definitely needs a trigger warning. Did a Figure in the Foglight have one because of the domestic abuse stuff?
I couldn't
I
tell
don't.
you.
I think I looked it up, but I don't think it did. It was like a couple of days ago that I checked.
I'm in the process. If I could learn how to type correctly. No, there's no warning.
Yeah. So I feel like that one and this one, like a Figure in the Fog, I won't keep wanting to call it a Figure in the Foglight, Figure in the Fog, Figure in the Fog story, and Sabbath here should probably have a trigger warning at the beginning, just because like as we kind of brought up in that story, some of us are not. Some of us get more easily affected by that kind of shit when it's being described in a story. So, I mean, I know it is creepypasta, it is horror, but like you should still be a little courteous to your readership.
Curious or courteous?
Courteous is what I meant.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, I'm not sure this is the culminating crossover event I wanted. I guess it's interesting that we're getting more character development from Frank and his tormented mind, but it feels sort of more like a flashback episode, like were this a TV show, rather than a culmination of previous threads coming together to form something. And this is me talking like as I'm reading the story, so I hope something at the end does give us some kind of a payout. And then update, we do sort of get a payoff by way of further dissecting the All-Mother's goals and Frank's part to play in the story, in the greater setting and story. Like we now learn that like Frank is that demonic spirit that was possessing people in the one story, her red right hand. Like he is her red right hand, like that malevolent spirit. And we get like kind of like the origin of how Frank went from being this like shitty human being to this like demonic, or this kind of like malevolent servitor to the All-Mother. There was more to it than just like, like flipping a switch and now he's evil. There was a lot more torment and torture as a result. But I'll move on to the next thing I have. Taking the brush to the woman, I run it along her as she jerks, soaking up the blood from her skinless back, and complete my message on the wall. What the hell is her red right hand? And yeah, I had suspected this earlier in the story, like when like earlier in the story, I had suspected that these were the events from her red right hand, and so I'm glad that it's kind of nice that the story does just kind of like straight up tell us, like, but not both tells us directly, but not directly. Like it's not.
If you've gotten to this part in the story, you probably read all the previous ones, so you get the references.
Exactly. Yeah.
That being said,
again,
it goes into like explicit detail describing something you've already read.
Yeah. It's just from Frank's like tortured point of view. So, again, not the crossover event I wanted, where like it's all been leading up to this sort of thing. It's like, this is not what I wanted.
Turns out Frank is the main character.
Oh no.
No. Basically what it is right now.
I mean, in this story, he is the main character, but that's because the story is about Frank and like how his journey from being a shitty human to what he becomes. So, the next thing I have here is, I am called Creed, Mr. Lawrence. You find yourself in the interstice, a realm between life and death, an existence between the physical and astral planes of reality. Here we lie outside of time, and the laws so commonly taught of as absolute by men. So, first off, just a blanket thing about Creed. He's nailing it. Like, absolutely like stealing the show, as always. He is. It's weird to say. He's kind of my favorite bastard in this series.
He's the narrator.
He kind of is, but he's kind of the narrator, but also like he's so theatric when he appears in story to talk to characters. So, and this is just the like the way he's written is very like fun, despite the fact that he's an absolute like malicious bastard. But that's actually not what I was getting at here. Interstice. I had to look up that word because it sounded like is this a made up word or is this an actual thing? So interstice, noun, an intervening space, especially a very small one. So, for example, like a example of it is sunshine filtered through the interstice of the arcing trees. So I learned a new word today. Also, it is a very fitting name for this realm. It almost kind of invokes like an ethereal or even liminal sort of vibe to it. So, and then the next thing I have, they'd come here, Morgan and Lester and Jamie'd gone missing, and so had Lester. Wow. Wow, Frank. Like, and Jamie'd gone missing. Oh, and I guess Lester did too.
He's less important. He has a lot less lines.
Yeah, he cares about Jamie more because he beat him more.
That's weird.
Welcome to Horror Gamer. And the Fontaine girl wouldn't tell a straight story. Something about fog and weird symbols and Wicker's journal and black-eyed children and fucking women in white. And now the girl was being sent off to some nut house by her parents, and my fucking boys, are still missing. And Mary's left me, and my cat died, and my car broke down, and it just keeps going. Like, so I guess this could be a grammar acquisition, but like it is. I kind of give this one also a pass because like. Yes, it's a run-on, but like it's sort of it's literally a like a constant stream of thought that's going on. So I can kind of give it a pass the way it's being written, like that. Also, I don't know why, but it took this moment in the story to realize that this story has fucking black-eyed children in it. And I even went back into like a figure in the fog, and they even described the taken children there as having creepy blackened eyes. So if you guys aren't aware, black-eyed children is a real world like paranormal phenomenon.
So every time you say this, I really want you to say peas.
Black-eyed, the black-eyed.
Every time you say black-eyed, I imagine peas is the next word.
Yeah, I know. I absolutely. You don't know how hard it was for me to not to do that.
Yeah.
Also,
as the bard.
Also, when I say black-eyed children, I'm not saying like children with black eyes, like they've been punched in the face, but like their actual eyeballs are like pitch black, like a shark's eyes kind of look.
Yes.
Or even just like black holes.
Yeah.
And yeah, like this is actually like that kind of entity, like a black-eyed child, is actually a real world paranormal phenomenon. It's like a ghostly child or ghostly children who are sighted with pitch black eyes, like shark's eyes. They're like mischievous and even sometimes malevolent entities asking for help or rides to somewhere. And then they cause misfortune to the person that's helping them, or even like life-threatening accidents if the victim agrees to give them a lift in their car and such.
I'm not gonna lie, when you said real life phenomena, I thought you meant like there are studies where some children get some disease that makes their eyes pure black.
Yeah,
like,
no.
In real life.
Yeah. I meant like out of the story, out of the fiction.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if that urban legend was an inspiration for like this aspect of the setting, like the taken children are inspired by this modern day folklore. Because I think, as far as I know, it is like a modern day sort of like paranormal sightings and folklore of like black-eyed children.
It is also like there are two quick ways to make a human being look evil. One, make their eyes red. Two, make their eyes black.
Honestly, yeah. to give them something that makes them like look wrong. That is definitely the way to do it. Just
And the
have their
third
eyes
one is pure
reflect.
white eyes, I guess.
Yeah. Though even with that one, like because that one usually means like they're like their eyes have become cataract or something like that. So yeah.
Well, I meant like completely pure, because like I'm pretty sure like even when like you're blind, your eyes aren't pure white like that. You know, like there's still
True. Yeah.
like diluted irises and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Inhumanly like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat white eyes.
Yeah. Like the kind of thing that you'd see in like Mortal Kombat or like other shows and stuff like that, where like somebody's clearly like. But although I'd say like white eyes usually mean like something divine or celestial or even like less than malevolent spiritual. But
Then why does the
it's still
Undertaker
weird.
do it in the WWF?
I mean, that's fair.
he is not malevolent or heavenly at all.
Well, I mean, he is malevolent. He's not.
Sorry, benevolent. I meant to say.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely with black eyes or red eyes, that's no bueno.
Yes.
But I'll move on to the next thing. Your experiences, Mr. Lawrence. He grinned lasciviously. We've already covered lasciviously from a previous episode, so I'm not going to bother covering it. Why, memories, of course. A thrill of fear and confusion shoots through me. What memories? But, I mean, the living room, sure, and the fog. But the factory? That psycho wasn't me. Wasn't even my body. Oh, Mr. Lawrence, don't you understand? The interstice, I already told you, exists outside of time. You are simply reliving some of the events you have yet to experience. Most who come here play out instances that are of particular significance to them, and knowing the role you are bound for, my oh my, I can only imagine how special it must be. Oh, okay. So yeah, again, this is just another revelation of like finding out that Frank is actually that sinister and devious presence that takes over people in her red right hand. I honestly really as super fucked up as that whole sequence is and like how and like that whole situation is. It is kind of interesting that like this is how we're like this is what like that presence was actually like a character we encountered earlier that got like killed in quotes, and then has come back as like some kind of like more twisted version of themselves. I mean, we do also sort of see that in Sarah's story, the one where like Sarah and her husband and I think her child go like live at the Wicker House, and then like Sarah's husband gets possessed by Frank. So I guess we should have seen it coming. That like that was what the red right hand was it was Frank the whole time. But anywho, moving on. As to your specific purpose, is it such a foreign concept, Mr. Lawrence? The all-powerful, omnipotent God of your religion, nevertheless, has his saints and prophets, his angels, those who most regularly interact with the mortal world on his behalf. And for what? Because the unfiltered majesty of his being would be too much for mere men to behold. And so this is like when Creed is trying to basically convince Mr. Lawrence or convince Frank to be the All Mother's like emissary on Earth, like her red right hand, her avatar, as it were. And Frank asks like, why me? Like, why can't she just do this herself? And I like how this evil force and faction is twisting the ideology of what should be a good force and doctrine of someone's religion to manipulate them to their cause, like twisting the words of the doctrine that they follow to get them to like side with them. It's a very like
very demonic thing to do.
Yeah, it's a very like cunning sort of evil machinations. So, oh god, and then there's this part. I'd be damning myself. Creed said his mistress feeds on despair and destruction. I shudder as my thoughts turn back to the factory, to the woman's screams as I walked to her holding a pair of pliers. Popcorn. thanks. I can't eat popcorn anymore. It's like legitimately, it's amazing to me how phrasing a sound of something horrific with a one-word descriptor can be so effective. Like I really did, like I really found that like just the use of like popcorn to describe like the cracking out of molars and teeth.
It's such a fun word too. That's getting like corrupted.
Yeah, but it's
by
like
this.
it's so well done for this horror story. Like it's so good. Like I was going to say chef's kiss, but like I felt dirty just thinking that. Jesus.
Yeah, really.
Is
a good choice of descriptor though.
Yeah. I'll move on to the next thing. Does my choice here even matter? The future. Creed told me I'd seen the future and the past and the present and and the past, and that they were the same thing. If that's true, and considering everything I'm going through, I have no reason to believe it isn't. Then the tortured woman, the factory, the words written on those terrible tapestries nailed to the wall, the choice has already been made. Mary, we were in love once, weren't we? I turned to Creed. All right. To be free of the guilt, the pain, I'll do it. I'll be her hand. It looks as though Creed's smile will split his skull. Excellent.
And it does.
Yeah. He becomes a Canadian from South Park.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, immediately changes from like the deep, like gravelly tone to like, hey, buddy.
Of course, because that's how we all talk.
You'll be our buddy, guy.
I won't be.
You'll be her
guy,
guy.
friend.
You'll be her guy, friend. Oh my god! I want to draw fucking Creed as a South Park Canadian.
I don't know if any Canadian in South Park has ever been drawn buff. They always just have like they're
oh my god!
rectangles.
It's just gonna be like the Satan bod, but with like a Canadian flapping mouth.
Well, no, Canadians in South Park are drawn with simple geometry, so he would be a triangle instead of a rectangle.
Or he'd have the upper his upper body would be a large rectangle, and then his lower body would be a smaller, like thinner triangle or a thinner rectangle. So almost like kind of like how you try to make like a body with just like geometric shapes, but just sticking with the basic geometry rather than like adding detail. All right, I'll get on that at some point.
Good.
So after reading that part in the story, I was like, and Frank goes fully down the dark side. I kind of wish this is me again talking as I'm reading this part of the story. I kind of wish the story had taken the opposing path. Like, sure, Frank, hell, we saw the future events of what's happened or what happens in the story, Her Right Hand. And then Frank also experienced it in the factory. But then wouldn't it be cool if Frank refused the deal and actually tried to rebel against his future? Even if it was doomed to fail, it would still kind of give Frank some sense of like humanity, terrible and flawed as he is.
Yeah, that would have been neat, wouldn't it have?
Yeah. Update. We at least get a reveal that he could have rebelled against his fate and like given
but
the nature of the
he
interspace?
Decided to immediately not.
Yeah, exactly.
Without
like,
second thought.
Yeah, like he did think about it.
No, he didn't.
But
show me when he thought about it.
I literally just quoted it. Like he was literally like thinking about it. It's like, oh, like, but then he was going through. It's like, well, the future's already been written. So like, I'm not saying he spent like a lot of time on thinking about it, but he did at least think on it for a moment. And then
he's literally just like, the future's written. You can get rid of the guilt I feel. Fine. Like, that's the extent of him, quote unquote, thinking about it. He doesn't even consider the option of just telling him to go fuck himself.
No, because he's already kind of given in to like, oh, I've already like he was shown beforehand like the future thing and told that like that's him in the future. So
yeah, but he could have been lied to. He's not watching factual evidence as far as he knows. He could have been shown some fabrication that isn't even real.
I do get what you're saying, but like hindsight is also like 2020 for us as the reader. Like this is also Frank we're talking about. He is a very flawed human being. So like
The
he
problem
would-
is, like, yes, he's a flawed human being, but the problem is this entire story and the story about Frank previously have been trying to hammer home that Frank has a soul. He's not just a pure shitbag. So we read 2 stories of him attempting to redeem himself, and then when he gets the chance to redeem himself, he's just like, nah. Not even a second thought, just nah. That's why my
was not
recommendation was just nah.
All right,
I pulled
fair.
a Frank.
Yeah. Oh God. Do you really want to have that as like a term that you're associated with? I pulled a
Not really.
Frank. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, to me, like I just saw it as like, oh, that's just that's horror for you. Like it, like the human makes the bad choice, like and doesn't even consider the other like consequence, or too late realizes that he should have like thought of the consequence. Like that's a very flawed human thing to do. Is like
It's
to
like
not
movie
think,
character logic, though. It's not.
No, it is. Like, it is real. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in a movie. Like, it's like people make shitty mistakes without thinking of the consequences all the fucking time in real life. Yeah, it's just, yeah. So, like, I kind of thought it was interesting. Like, well, like, at least it did kind of give us, like, that, not a revelation. I'm not going to call this a revelation. I'm not even going to deem this deign this with the term revelation. But it was an interesting reveal that we get at the very end, where it's like, well, no, you were in a place out of time. You could have stopped. You could have held back. The clues were there, Frank, but you, being a dumb human, decided to just like, oh, I give up. Like, take away the pain. I'll go the easy route. Or what seemed like the easy route. And so he fell right into the evil's hands, basically.
I don't know. The decision just seems extremely stupid to me.
I mean,
like, if you take this deal, you'll become this monster, and you'll be able to kill without second guessing it. But he never thinks like, but if I don't take the deal, then I won't be hurting those people like I don't want to do, like I just described to the reader in multiple different flashback and flash forward sequences of my disdain for these actions. That's my whole problem.
Yeah, I get that. Like, I get why you think that. But I also wonder if like maybe the reason why he was shown those memories like now, and like basically they were like beating him down like morally and mental, or like not morally, mentally and like emotionally with those scenes. And then basically like that's how they were able to like kind of like break down his willpower, essentially, is through those like tormenting memories. And then kind of like to the point where he'd feel helpless and fall into despair, and seeing no other way out, they'd offer him this deal. So that's how I see it, is like that, like it was a little bit more involved in that. Like, it wasn't just him like, all right, I'll take the deal. Like, fuck it. Like they broke him down beforehand throughout the story.
The way I took it is that his the conversation or whatever that we get is his conscience.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, his conscience.
And but at the same time, like, his own conscience didn't like the fact that he beat his wife and whatnot, but he still did it anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean that's like that's what people like. Yeah, like people who are abusive and like, well, not all the time, because like there are sociopaths and what have you, but like there are people who get drunk and like they lose all their inhibitions and they lose all their self-control, and they do something like that they would never normally do if they were sober, and then when they get sober again, they have immense regret for what they did, because that, like, suddenly their conscience isn't being blocked, inhibited, yes, by something like alcohol or drug use and such. So,
and again,
or
that just
rage
goes back to what I was talking about, where like this whole time we've been hearing the angel on his shoulder, and then all of a sudden the angel on his shoulder is gone just because.
Well, because it's been helpless this entire time. So, but I guess agree to disagree on on the character's journey here. So, but yeah, no, that's all I've got for actual thoughts for Sabbath. So, Mikey.
All right, let's see here. When we get her right red hand reference, that's when I clued in that this was a Wicker Saga.
I mean,
continuation.
Yeah.
And then once we got Creed, I was like, yep, there it is.
I got it immediately, mainly because as soon as I get a story, the first thing I do is scroll down to the bottom to see how long it is, and at the very bottom it says like Wicker Saga, next and previous. But that's me.
All right. And then I have some critically silliness with this quote here. "To scene."
What?
True scene.
Again, what?
It's
supposed to be chosen, but
choose.
All these.
See, I kept hearing to scene, not choosing. To scene. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the way
All
it's
right.
spelled, it's choose scene.
Like, I think the story it's supposed to be chosen. But because of how phonetics work and like when you first read a word, I can see choosing if you're being critically silly.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Anyway.
God, that was sorry, that was just like what?
We were mystified twice. Like, he gave us the same information. We still got nothing out of it.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
It's just that galaxy brain of
silliness.
Mikey's. Yeah. Mikey's galaxy brain.
Okay. So, all right. Let's see here. My next actual thought here, I'm going to have to don my Ebenezer cap.
It's past Christmas though.
I know.
You should be wait. It's past Christmas, and you're Ebenezer. You should be like happy and like all's well. I'm going to be such a better person.
Yeah, but no.
All right, fair
He's
enough.
not Scrooge. He's a different Ebenezer.
Yeah.
So the memories, for me, represent past, present, future. So we have the past, which is him beating his wife and kid. We have the present, which is him in the room with all the kids. And
it was actually outside. Oh yeah, in the warehouse, in the factory. Okay, yeah.
No. This is with when he's in the Wicker House.
Oh yeah. Although I thought he was just out at the front of the Wicker House. But sorry, I'm being pedantic.
Well, but he's with the kids, so
Yeah.
it's still Wicker House. Anyway, and then the future with the factory. So it's sort of a reverse Christmas Carol.
A little bit, yeah.
And then the whole section about how free will and time happening all at once and all of that made you potentially realize that what if Frank's past transgressions were because of this decision?
Yeah.
Yeah, then we get all the time travel, Back to the Future shenanigans.
Wibbly wobbly time stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if his conscience was strong enough, then he wouldn't have beat his wife.
Yeah, true.
And whatnot, but this is the story where his conscience goes to die because he gives it up to become her red right hand.
Yeah.
But because time has no meaning in this space, it makes you wonder whether this decision affected his entire life or just his future. So that to me was an interesting take.
Yeah, that is interesting. It's man, time travel stuff is complex to say the least.
Yes. And that's the end of my actual thoughts.
All right. Gamer.
Let's see. I chimed in on one or two things. See what I have left. Where's this? Right at the start? Pretty close to the start. Where it's like, Frank. Who's there? Frank. Mary? Mary, is that you, baby? No, it's clearly Frank. I just told you. That's at least what I thought anyways. Because he asked who's there, and the response was Frank.
Yeah.
But no. So, unfortunately, that's not the case. And then throughout it, we get a couple instances of the woman in white saying things, or did she just say it the once? It might have just been the once. Actually, in regards to my Frank part, is that the woman in white? I want to say no, specifically because when she says "true scene" later, it's in bold.
True scene. I think it might be. I think Frank and some of that might have been like part of the memory. Like he's like the drunken haze and stuff like that is kind of like coming to for that memory. Like it is his wife, like basically pleading to Frank, as he's like beating her or beating the son.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Right, because then it phases into that room. So you're probably right. Because if it was the woman in white, I would have expected it being bold as well. Because I feel like all of her dialogue should be bold. Because I like that it's bold.
Yeah,
that's the main point of my note here. Is it makes it pop, so you know it's not just Creed saying this after.
Yeah, pop like popcorn.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah, this horror story. This story is like really like it's just making popcorn skeevy and creepy.
Delicious. Oh,
nice.
And then my only other note, honestly, until my final thoughts, is when it gets to this part where it says, "My woman in white pressing down against my chest. I am happy as she lies there, nestled in the crook of my arm, until I turn and find the fiend Creed grinning at me triumphantly. And before I can wonder, my perception is opened." So when I read that, I'm not going to lie. When I got here, I really thought Frank turned to look at the woman in white in his arms, but it was Creed there instead, smiling up at him.
That honestly, that would have been really good. I think that would have been just as good. It's like, fooled you.
Yeah, honestly. But no, after that, it explains that like the avatar of the woman in white like disappears in his arms after. So I was like, oh. But yeah, that's all I got left for notes.
All right. Then on to final thoughts. So yeah, I said I'm going to conditionally recommend it. It's not for everyone. I fully understand that. The gruesome flashbacks and the torture scenes, they're a lot. We've had them kind of pop up before in some of the other Shadow Swimmer like Wicker Saga stories. And they are there to emphasize like just like the depravity often of human horror, but also just like of like these characters are like being like put into hell basically. And so like hell is not supposed to be like nice. It's supposed to be brutal for a reason. Or at least that kind of like hellscape is supposed to be like that. But this is an interesting exploration of what became of Frank after the figure in the fog and what he'd later become in both Sarah's story and her red right hand. It also does give us some more details regarding the All-Mother and her plots and plans, like and even Creed in all his devilish delight. Like it kind of shows like their machinations and like how like because for all intents and purposes, like basically, it seems like okay, way I kind of saw it is like this is how Frank becomes one of the All Mother's children, basically, or how she's corrupting this human soul into one of her monsters, essentially. So it's interesting that we get that, like, just some of the machinations of the evils that are in this setting. I do feel this story, as with some previous ones, could do with a trigger warning at the beginning, just based on some of the more realistic human horror that is depicted, or the more realistic horror that is depicted. It's kind of strange to me. Like, the Wicker Saga is this fascinating dichotomy of fun, often pulpy cosmic horror and supernatural, like, monsters and terrors. But then it showcases extremely brutal real world human horror and like atrocity stuff. And like, I find those to be way more disturbing and less fun to read about than
Again, you have
than the
no
monsters.
supernatural safety blanket.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. I need to buy one of them off of Redbubble, which you can do now on our Redbubble account.
Mhm.
Plug.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I just find it interesting, like, because the throughout, as we've been reading all these Wicker Saga stories, we have kind of gotten this like kind of intertwining through line of like fun, I say like fun in quotes, like fun cosmic horror and like stuff that isn't real, but like it's still terrifying to a degree because of like the ideas behind it and such, and the concepts are creepy and shit. But then we get shown scenes of like sexual assault and abuse and domestic abuse and not very fun and pleasant horror that's like pulled from our real world. And I feel that those ground a lot of the stories that are there when they're in there for the Wicker Saga. Like, it almost like kind of like it anchors the supernatural stuff with horror that we can unfortunately relate to in some capacity, even as a society. But it can be so brutal sometimes because of how close somebody might be when they're reading the story to those themes and those unfortunate sequences. So,
but like,
yeah,
unfortunately,
again,
like people in real life, like everyone's dealt with a whole bunch of different stuff. Like, to that extent, any creepypasta on the internet should have trigger warnings for those certain things, because like every single creepypasta could trigger someone.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting that everyone should put trigger warnings on all of their things. I'm just saying that, given that context that you gave, like,
yeah, and I mean,
anyone
like,
could be triggered by anything.
Yeah, and I mean, we have also read some stories that were like these themes, these scenes are written tastefully, like in a way that isn't going to like terribly trigger somebody, but like
Yeah,
a lot of
you
the stuff
get it, but it's not like painted.
Exactly. But and I think that's the difference with Shadow Swimmer's stuff here, is he does not hold back sometimes.
No, it's just
and so
really painted in gore.
Yeah, and I mean
It's close
fine.
on being are we cool yet art?
Yeah. And I mean, and it's fine to have that, because like, again, like, that's horror is can often be catharsis for things that like you're dealing with in real life, or like themes that you want to tackle, like the shitty dark side of the world that you want to tackle in a story. Just, I feel sometimes these Wicker Saga stories should probably have a trigger warning, because if you're gonna go that hard, maybe have something like a warning.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's like
that's
those
why
horror movies that sometimes like offer you a barf bag. Like, that's your trigger warning.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, here. Yeah. That's your warning about when you're going into this, like, be aware, you may feel sick. But yeah, that's why I'm giving this a conditional recommendation. Like, I enjoyed the latter half of the story personally. Like, reading the first half, I was like, oh fuck. Like, I even ahead of time warned my co-hosts here, like, hey, watch out for this story. We're dealing with Frank again, and his abuse, and because I know that it did kind of affect Gamer in a way last time we read Frank. So
Yeah, you told me that. I'm like, great. And then,
yeah.
like, you reminded me that we recorded, that we're going to record tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, it's 1 o'clock. I'm like, I should start reading.
That's both a great and not great time to be reading some dark shit.
Yeah. I fell asleep promptly after, woke up at like 9 or 10 in the morning. I'm like, okay, I got to read the whole thing now. Panic mode activate.
Oh, Jesus. But yeah, so that's why like I conditionally recommend it, is because the story's well written. It's just it's brutal in some of its scenes, so it's not going to be for everyone. I don't like, in terms of like the greater Wicker Saga stories, it does complement the Wicker Saga stories. Like it gives us more information, more insight on certain characters, like not just Frank here, but also the machinations of Creed and Lilith. But it's I was actually kind of like tackling with this like last night when I was like when I was getting ready for my notes and such. It's like, does this need to be read for the Wicker Saga as a whole? And it's like, I feel like it can be. It doesn't necessarily need to be. Because a lot of the themes of this story, like the machinations, were also explored in some previous stories. So, but
The ending result tells you what happened to Frank, though.
yeah, exactly. Like this one at least gives us like gives us some more details on like how Frank went from like how he ended up in like how his living life how his living life ended, and this is the journey to where his afterlife began, like with being corrupted and being a servitor to Lilith and her machinations. So yeah, I guess it is still definitely something worth reading for if you're getting like the full experience of the Wicker Saga. But yeah, it's not going to be for everyone, I guess, is my brass tacks for the story. So conditional
This one
recommend.
is not rated. This one's not rated E for everyone.
It is certainly not rated E for everyone. It's probably definitely a rated R movie if this was a story. If this story was a movie.
Games are rated with R's.
Is it? Oh, sorry.
No.
Rated M for mature.
There you go. Actually, I think there's one past that.
Hang on, yeah. What's Spec Ops: The Line rated?
Did that one get more than?
I'm checking. I'm literally pulling out the game on my shelf. Oh, it was actually rated M for everyone.
The highest
M for everyone? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I said that. Whoops. Rated M for everyone. My God. Hey, niece called. Does you want to watch? You want to play this game? It's rated M for everyone.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How to traumatize a child.
AO is the one past it, which is adults only for ages 18 plus.
Yeah, I'd say AO would probably be This one's definitely an AO, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
AO.
Nice.
Mikey, what's your verdict?
All right. So, while I agree that the memory flashbacks were not that nice to read, the later section that Altist also liked, the question of is there free will, and if time is happening all at once, then how do you know there's free will? And it's just that age-old question.
Yeah, I do like that the story tries to like. I very often when you're dealing with time travel and fate, a lot of the time people just like no fate, like because of time travel and because of like events transpire, free will doesn't really exist because you are traveling and finding out like the cause and effect. But it's interesting that this story is also kind of like siding with the idea that like free will and time travel or like seeing the future events can happen. Like they can exist simultaneously. Like they aren't mutually exclusive, as the story I think says.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I like that aspect of it. So that there is something there.
Yeah.
But as stated, just the whole popcorn situation.
But it's such a good use of that word for like the description of what's happening. Like as like I was like it was kind of gross. Like and I was like, oh, I was about to eat some popcorn like earlier, and I was like,
Maybe I
like
won't.
well, no, I'd had some popcorn earlier this week. Like I had a bag of that caramelized popcorn, and then I started reading the story. I was like, connective tissues. I hate it.
Nice.
So like, yeah, close to home.
Yeah, so I'm still going to give this a partial recommendation.
All right. And gamer.
Nah.
Yeah, I assumed. Yeah.
Okay, so
No,
to
no,
clarify on my
yeah.
nah, the read I hated reading, to be perfectly honest, to be blunt with it, just specifically because like a good half of the story, or maybe even more of that, is a rundown of 2 or 3 previous stories that I didn't appreciate being reminded about in such gory detail and like depressing detail. Like,
Yeah.
and the main point of this story, reading through it, to what I thought seemed like it was going to be some fleeting attempt at redemption for Frank. And like we talked about it already, I personally feel that chance at redemption for him was just dropped for no reason, essentially putting me through all of that, like for the worst kind of payoff I could imagine. Like Frank is now Super Frank. Great, thanks. Like that's the result of this story. I get that this is horror, so I get that there shouldn't always be happy endings, but like redemption through deciding to just stay dead isn't a happy ending. Like he may have been a shitbag in real life, but his family members and friends and stuff, they are still without him, and his name is forever tainted as being the shitbag he is, and no one knows that he actually had a conscience, and in this last thing that he did something good for a change. But no one knows that, so everyone in the real world still sees him as this monster. Like that is still a suitable creepypasta horror-ish ending. But instead it's just like, hey gamer, your least favorite character in the Wicca saga? Yeah, he's a superhero now. He's unkillable. Thanks.
That's not really
Appreciate it.
unkillable. He's just gotten a buff from he's been upgraded to demon now.
Creed specifically said like you could do whatever you want without fear of the authorities or anyone stopping you. Like even if they tried, they can't. So he is essentially a superhero as far as I can tell. Super villain.
Yes, like mundane authorities, but like we've also seen like we know from the Wicker Saga mythos that there are like good force users, good use like benevolent. There's a benevolent faction out there, or like a force out there that is able to like strike back at these evils. Like we've seen them in previous stories, like Morgan, when she gets older, she is able to combat Frank when he's possessing people, and even Jamie's ghost manages to like basically wrestle his father when inside of a puppeted body in a later in Sarah's story, I believe, at the end of that one. So I think the like you'll be like free of consequence was more of like you won't care because we'll strip that part of your mind away. And you'll be, and he was kind of just enticing him with like the benefits, like, yes, you won't be able to be like, you won't have to worry about being shot at or something because you'll be some type of demon creature. But like, he's also not telling him that like, oh, I mean, by the way, like there are some banes that you have, like salt will, like you can't cross salt and.
Well, yeah, he's not telling him any of the bad stuff. He's just saying that like the authorities and the cops won't and can't do anything to you. So like, Creed has like people in the police force that like if someone catches wind of stuff that Frank's doing, he'll just get swept under the rug and they won't even investigate. Or even if they do, he straight up told Frank like he's strong enough that he could just kill any cops that show up and they'll get covered up anyway. So that's why I say he's Super Frank now. Yeah,
fair. Yeah, he's basically like this is basically a deal with the devil, and the devil never tells you like the cons. He always tells you the pros.
Yep.
So yeah.
Still. Super
That's
Frank. Super
Yeah.
Frank. Super Frank.
He's Super
Super
Frankie.
Frankie.
Lawrence. Oh my god. Wow.
But yeah, all that being said, I don't know.
It's fine not to like it. Like you don't like that's why we do the final recommendation or final thoughts and recommendations, like to get everybody's opinion on it. So
I know. And I appreciate that the story is giving us I'm not appreciating that there's a continuation. I'm appreciating that there is a explanation of what happened after what happened to Frank.
Mhm.
But like, it's basically setting it up. So I'm assuming later on, Morgan's gonna have to like finish him fully, like completely, like because otherwise he is just this monster going around killing people for reasons.
yeah,
Which I guess is why it's set up like that. But
yeah,
I don't know. The main reason I didn't like to read is specifically, like I get that I'm basically going through what Frank's going through because I am being forced to witness all this shit the same way he's doing it.
Yeah.
But like we've already seen those stories, so like having these described in such detail again was a little too much.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine because like you already in the previous stories you had a hard time reading it because of the material, and now now you're being forced to read another story that basically just flashback recaps those like greatest hits of those terrible stories that you didn't like.
Yeah, instead of being through the eyes of a child being beaten by his father, we get to see it through the eyes of the father beating the child. Great.
And his
I hated
consciousness
it.
is like and much like the reader who is unable to do any actions, Frank's conscience inside of his head is helpless to stop his body from doing what it's doing. So
at first I hated that, being like, because the last time that there was a Frank redemption story going on with him going to the Wicker House, I was like, don't try to save this guy, he's a dick. But like by the time I got to the end, I'm like, I would rather have them I would have rathered him being quote unquote saved / redeemed by the end in the way that we described than what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me.
That's fair. Yeah. All right. So I guess a conditional recommendation, a partial recommendation, and a non-recommendation. Just running the gambit as usual.
We do that a lot.
Yeah. But
or we're
that'll
throwing energy cards and spinning bow staffs around.
Yes.
It's Gambit from X-Men.
He
throws energy cards and he has like a bow staff and he's like, he flips it around.
So that's it for tonight.
I hope my stupid sound effects came through.
Yeah, I think so. Also, I was like so tempted to be like.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't do that.
Yeah, it's a good thing that's not. It's a good thing that's not on recording.
No, of course not.
But that's it for tonight. If you like what you heard, or if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below where this gets posted.
You can also contact us on Blue Sky. Mikey is at E Stands for Evil, and I was gonna read I'm at Review Cultist, but you're at Review Cultist because I have your outro written down in my notes.
Oh yes, yeah. And I'm at Review Cultist. You can also send us emails at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com, where you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas, SCPs, spooky things. You creep it, we'll peep it. Yeah. Oh. And if you'd like to help support our show financially, you can go to Patreon. We have special episodes, early access, extra content. To all our patrons helping support the show, thank you immensely. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay, and as always, we very much appreciate that. And to our listeners and the authors of these stories, thank you immensely, because without your listenership, it'd be like screaming into the void, being stuck in the interstice, as it were.
Nice.
Yes. And without your authorship, writing and posting these stories on the internet, we really wouldn't have much of a show because we'd have nothing to talk about. So thank you. Now's a good time to bring up that we are part of a podcast network, Crit in the Night, an actual play and creepypasta podcast network. We're there alongside our sister podcast, One Less Die, and our cousin podcast, The Role Playing Exchange, for things that go crit in the night. Until next time, I've been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the East End Retrieval.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. Sleep well.